We go.
Welcome to another edition of Influence Today with Chet, Tart, and Terry Lyles. As you can see, I have a different background. I'm outside, and Terry's inside today. And we're talking about influence. And today I thought we would talk a little bit about your brand new book that's coming out, Terry,
Yes.
about being being an influencer or being important. What's the name
Mhm.
of the book?
Becoming invaluable. And
See, you can
becoming
be invaluable in
invaluable.
many ways. Yeah,
Yes.
I like it.
And
Where did
I'm
that
co
idea come from?
I was just I say the word valuable a lot and invaluable in the corporate world and with athletes. Like, how do you become the je ne sais quoi? How do you become that difference maker? And you may not even realize what it is. They may not realize what it is, but the scoreboard in your bank account says there's something different about you. And so I helped them try to discover what is that that's different about you, and let's accentuate that. So I started talking to a business partner of mine and Steve Bowen, and this is the first book I've co-authored with someone. So him and I have had a blast doing this. We're a year into it now. It's going to come out just in a few months here. But I shared with him one day, coaching some of his folks at his company about invaluableness, and we kept talking about. I go, Steve, we should write a book. So the whole concept, Chet, is I love etymology and breaking words up. So if you take the word
Mhm.
able and split it up, VAL literally means health, strength, and worth. In this case, self-worth. You and then able. So I invert the word. You are able to have worth, health, strength, and this self-worth that we create. So the book is about this pyramid structure of this health on one side of the bottom of the pyramid, strength on the other side of the bottom of the pyramid, and at the top is your self-worth. So as you matriculate up this triangle or this diamond shape, using the techniques that I have used and that Steve has experienced in business over 20 years of doing his own business life, there's an end goal to this that we're going to help people discover what is their difference maker to become invaluable.
So the concept invaluable came from this conversation. What sparked it? What was a couple things that took place to go, this is something we can expand?
Well, one of the things is that a lot of people will say, how do you become irreplaceable? And I don't really agree with that because everybody's replaceable. I mean, it's just what it is. But invaluable, you can still navigate forward. So I typically will flip the word irreplaceable to invaluable. So that's how the conversation really started. Was I don't really like the word irreplaceable because you almost think that, you can't get rid of me. And it's like, well, no, I can get rid of you. But if you become invaluable, they don't want to get rid of you because you have something that's so paramount to the business or the family or the community, whatever that is, that we just need you and we want you. Irreplaceable is it could be we need you because you know things we don't know or you've done things we don't have done before. But to need and want someone is invaluable.
So give me an example of what invaluable actually looks like. Say that I'm at work. Let's try work first. What
Yeah.
would make me invaluable?
The steps that we go through, we created two words. Every time, this is my fifth book. Yeah. And I always create a word because if you create it and then you copyright it, becomes a word, and it's mine. So the word that I created, and I challenge Steve to do the same thing. So the word I created for this book is navigotiate. And it's the ability to navigate and negotiate simultaneously. There's some moments where I need to navigate a person because of conflict and then negotiate the situation. There's other times I need to negotiate the situation and navigate with the person. So navigate is a word putting two accesses together that helps me with people and circumstances or situations to move up that triangle. Steve came up with the word willitude, the ability to have the willingness and the proper attitude to matriculate up that triangle. So, what is your willitude? What is that push inside of you? So, to navigate and have willitude are the key factors of this book as we describe it chapter by chapter. What is that for you customized that you can put it into practice in your life from a coaching standpoint and from a leadership standpoint.
So it really goes back to the hiring practice that you have or the process you have, because you're looking for these qualities in people. But
Yes.
when you're that aware, your hiring system is a little bit different, correct?
That is correct. And what we're doing with companies with this book launch is we want to share with companies what is their value as a company. Why would you or myself want to go work for that company, whoever that is? So they need to, it's kind of like a sell me, sell you. What is their value that makes me want to go there? Because today we live in an employer market. I mean, like they think companies can hire people, but there's a lot of people in the marketplace with a lot of experience and demanding a lot of money for what they do. So you've got to find the best value for your dollar you're willing to pay as a company owner or a CEO to make sure there's a good fit, not a misfit. So we talk about what is value from the company side, what is value from the human engineering side. If it's me trying to hire on with a company, I need to know what my invaluableness is. And it could be 1, 2, or 3 things. I have a PhD. I know a lot of people, I have a great network, and I'm going to work hard for you. I do this day and night, just like that. It could be that simple. That's my invaluable. Well, who do you know in your network? And what is your PhD in? And what is your track record on working long and hard to be successful at all costs? Now it opened up this whole conversation of they're going like, we got to have that guy. I mean, like who doesn't want somebody who is degreed and experienced, who has a great network and who's willing to work harder than everybody else? And they convinced me. So you know what? Guess what? You got the job. So it's creating.
When I tell people to go on a job interview, I ask them to go in there with their mental attitude of what problem you're going to solve for this company. You need to do homework. But it sounds like what you have is a polished home honing situation that says when you go in there, you're going to have a better conversation about the problem you solve, because in your mind, you're invaluable. And
Yes.
here are the reasons why I'm invaluable very specifically. And here, if you hire me, is the problems I solve and the results you will get. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and I believe it or not, I mean, in full disclosure, I learned part of this from my 10-year-old who plays tennis a couple hours every day, 6 days a week, and rest on another day. And one day I said to him, coaching him, I said, you know what? You were a tennis player today. You really look like a tennis player today. And I said, so he kept talking. I said, you played good tennis. He goes, no, I am a tennis player. I didn't play good tennis. I am a tennis player. And it's one of the most powerful passages in the Bible. I am. That declares that I'm somebody unique and different to everyone else on the planet and everyone who's ever trotted on the planet. I need to locate my I am and show up with that I am. That I'm not just going to solve one of your problems. I am a problem solver. I am vulnerable to listen to you and assist and help you, company A, B, or C. I am. And I'll ask for you and I'll say, who are you? I am. And he says his name. So our name is very powerful, but the capacities we put around our name, our background, and our willitude and our negotiation skills, we believe are the differentiators in how we hire people in companies.
Terry, that's powerful. I am is so powerful when you get up in the morning, when you say to yourself, I am. Also, the conversation you have with yourself and you say, I'm not feeling well. I don't feel it. I'm not be careful, because your subconscious will suck that in and it will believe it. And then everything that you believe, you prove all the time. So the name of the book again, Terry, when is it coming out?
Becoming Invaluable, and it's coming out. We think it's going to be like September. It's going to be in the fall. We're going to do a fall launch. We interviewed 9 different interesting people, from performers, musicians, CEOs, corporate owners, and we asked them, what was your invaluableness? How did you get to where you are? And one of the examples I gave, I'll just give you a quick one because I know we got to jump off, was Chick-fil-A. And we interviewed, a person in Chick-fil-A, headquarters. And my question was, why do people wait for an hour or so on a curb around a corner in a parking lot to get a piece of chicken when you could go anywhere and get a piece of chicken? What is your invaluableness as Chick-fil-A? And he went on to describe, he knew exactly what it was. And I'm not going to tell you because you're going to have to buy and read the book, but he went through this process of here's what we do. Here is our code. And this is what differentiates us from another piece of chicken somewhere, you know? And so we used examples like that. Hermes bag, you know, I mean, you talk about a Birkin bag. I mean, you're talking about a bag that could cost $150,000 to $1 million, a women's carry bag, right? And you got to wait a year to possibly get accepted to receive a bag. And if they do have one come up, but it's not the color you ordered, and if you don't take that one regardless, you get out of line. You go back and start over again. They'll give it to someone else. And I'm like, who thought of this stuff? I mean, like, what is that je ne sais quoi? What is that invaluableness? So we talk about the elements and the procedural practices that makes one as an individual or a company invaluable. And we want to identify that with each and every reader to say, find yours, and here's the tools to help you identify it. And if you need help, we're here to help you.
Terry, this is outstanding. I can't wait to get more information. Let's dig down deeper in our next podcast episode. Sure. The upcoming book, because I think it's phenomenal. So how do they get in touch with you if they want to learn more or hire you as a coach?
Yeah, just my website, terrylyles.com, TerryLyles.com. They can email me directly through there. And, you know, my previous book, Performance Under Pressure, is still there. If you're into a performance situation as a company owner or, you know, an athlete or a stay-at-home mom that wants to know how to perform differently under pressure, that's still there. So terrylyles.com is how they get a hold of me. And then we'll keep updates with everybody that gets in touch with us on when the book actually comes out.
Thank you, Terry. And Terry is now a Vistage speaker, and I'm a Vistage chair. If you're in the Palm Beach area and you want to learn more about Vistage, you can contact me at ctart@vistageflorida.com. Thank you, Terry. Thanks for another episode of Influence Today.
Thank you, Chet.